Ladies and gentlemen, guys and gals, welcome to a podcast with three creators who don't really know what they're doing today. We're going to talk about some stuff. I hope you're going to be interested.
The last time we did this, we didn't have anything planned.
No.
We just talked about YouTube things.
Yes.
And that seems like a reasonable place to start.
Well, I mean, talking about YouTube things it's like such a good outlet because generally, in my experience, being a creator, you don't have a lot of creator friends, like, especially in real life, right? You don't go like, oh, let's go get a drink or have lunch or something, and let me tell you about my YouTube stats, like, no one cares. Right?
No,
it's like,
you don't talk about YouTube.
right?
YouTube stats is one of my favourite topics.
I went to go
I love YouTube stats.
Went to go buy a
Love
car
'em.
one time, and of course you have to put down what your job is. And I spent more time talking about YouTube, you know, not wanting to, but yeah, I do this. Oh, you do this? Yeah. So about the car, I had to like steer the conversation, talk about the car.
Yeah, it's either people are like weirdly interested because they have no idea what you do, or they kind of know what you do and they just don't really want to know any more about it. You know, and it's hard for us to like talk about specific things like, oh, you know, my click-through rate went up last week. It's like you can't actually express that to anyone. You know, oh,
I was telling
the RPM of this particular video has gone from like $5 to $10. Yes, and everyone's like, "What are you talking about?"
I was talking
What video
to
is
you
that?
In that email that that conversation we had a couple weeks ago, me and Colonel Failure. That was the longest I've talked with anyone, I think, in my 6 years about YouTube things.
Yeah.
Rather than, you know, a wife or whatever, she doesn't care.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get up to speed, right? So everybody who has tuned into this magnificent cast of the pod variety VOD, I don't know what it is. This fireside chat that we're having, everyone knows about Nook and me already. So, Zach, how did you get started, and indeed why?
Ah, yes. Well, I suppose from the beginning, I've been gaming since I was basically born, essentially. Because my dad I was born 89. So I'm 31 now? I actually lose track. I actually don't celebrate my birthday. Not that, I don't celebrate my birthday. It's that I actually legitimately forget. I think I'm 31. And my dad bought that Atari... numbers. It looked very 80s with the brown wooden slit sort of thing, and it had Pong on it, I think, and like some thing we could use one of those laser guns on the TV. That was the first experience for me with video games. So I did actually play Pong as my first game, even though that sort of predates me, I think. Then after that, I had the Sega Genesis.
It does just a little.
Yeah, I think that was 7. I suppose the first version of Pong was 60s? Like the very first.
The very late 60s, very early 70s.
Right, yeah. Because my dad, he's an electrical engineer. So he went to the UK to study, and he did all the basic computer stuff. So he got very into computers. So that when he started having a family, he was like, oh, we have to have computers in the house. And in the early 90s, that was quite rare, especially in Malaysia. So like we got a PC in and it was running Windows 3.5, which is essentially DOS. And my mom just used it for her writing out test papers because she was a teacher. But I used it for games, you know, and we got dial-up as soon as possible. So I played Prince of Persia, which released 89, but obviously I didn't play it 89. I played it early 90s. Then I had the Sega Genesis, PlayStation. So I was gaming all through my childhood. And then I went to university, and because it was so busy, I just stopped playing. Like, I didn't play any games. And then after 2 years, I realized I haven't played a video game for 2 years. I need an excuse to play a video game. And at that point, since around 2009, I was watching a lot of YouTube, particularly StarCraft 2 stuff. So I was studying design, so multimedia. I was like learning video techniques and all of that. And I was like, well, maybe if I just started a YouTube channel, then me playing a game is me practicing my design skills. So it's like an excuse, like, okay, I get to play the game, but I'm also not wasting my time, you know? I'm just gonna like produce a Let's Play series of something, you know, no one's gonna watch it, but it's fine, whatever. So then I started the channel and I made a Let's Play series. And like, okay, let's try it. And it did okay. It did okay. This was 2011, September. Was it September? I think end of 2011. I started the channel and I did one playthrough from Dust, and I just let it sit there. I didn't do anything else. I wasn't running a channel or anything. And it actually, like, that series got like a couple thousand views. And I was like, oh, okay, that's not bad. It can't be that bad then, you know. And I think I got maybe like 50, 80 subscribers from that. So it's like, okay, maybe there's something there. So then I graduated. And then I made this crazy decision to work 4 different jobs at the same time. So I graduated. I became a full-time school teacher. I started freelancing as a side business design work, so websites, animations, motion graphics, stuff like that. I became a TV host, and I was running the YouTube channel, all at the same time. So I never saw anyone. I never went to parties. I've never been to a club. Like I didn't do anything besides these 4 jobs and my relationship at the time, which is my now wife, then girlfriend. So that was like.
I like how that's last.
Well, there's the 4 jobs, and then it's a separate category. It's not last. It's other. It's other.
No. That's all right. You're among friends. We all have other halves who tolerate what we do.
Yes. So it's like I'm doing these 4 jobs, and then I'm just seeing her, then going back to the 4 jobs, and that was my life. And I was like, I can't do this forever. I have to set a time limit where this ends. So I just thought, well, 4 jobs for 4 years, that sounds good, right? Pretty arbitrary, but you know, I was like, I'm gonna do these 4 jobs for 4 years, and at the end, I'm gonna quit 3 of them, and I'll pick one then, because I didn't know which one I wanted to pick. So over the 4 years, 2 of them sort of just fizzled out. Then I was between the teaching and YouTube, and just at the end of the 4 years, the YouTube thing was actually starting to exceed my teaching pay. So I was like, well, based on what I want to do in the future, and also being a YouTuber is kind of like being a teacher anyway. You're sitting in front of a bunch of people talking about stuff, you know? So like the experience and the reward, like besides the monetary side, it was pretty similar, but YouTube was paying more. So I decided, okay, I'll quit the teaching thing, be a full-time YouTuber.
How long ago was this?
That was 2015. Yeah, so I started 2011,
oh, wow.
then 2015, okay. I basically went full-time YouTuber.
You've been doing full-time since then?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. I'm not full-time yet. No, I'm still only a part-timer.
Yeah, I could go full-time a little bit earlier because of where I live. You know, because I cultivated a Western audience, not on purpose, by accident. It's just Malaysians don't play these games. Malaysians aren't actually gamers in that variety sense. They play Dota, they play Street Fighter, they play Counter-Strike, maybe League of Legends, and you know, that's it. You know, besides that, the gamers here are usually Forza or FIFA. You know, they're not playing Stardew Valley, they're not playing Civilization, they're not playing any of that. No Rocket League, nothing. So Malaysians don't watch me. So I accidentally cultivated this Western audience, which has a higher CPM. And I'm living in Malaysia, which has a weaker currency. So I was essentially earning US dollars converting into Malaysian ringgit. So by the time I was at about 25,000 subscribers, I could actually go full time. Not life of luxury, but it paid the bills. You know, but it's because essentially the money I was making was ×4 because of currency exchange.
You're in the sweet spot as well in 2015. That's the last kind of high point for CPM rates anyway. They've only sort of gone down since 2015. I would say that was probably the end of the Let's Play golden age. Nook and I joining sort of right at the end of it, and then it's declined since then. It seems to have stabilized over the last couple of years though.
Yeah, the worst it was I think 2017, because it like really declined around 2015, and I noticed Let's Plays, they really stopped being good for anything. Like even the view count sort of dropped as well for me. That's when about 2017, it got so bad because there was the adpocalypse as well. And then the DMCA and content ID stuff was coming in. So in 2017, my income dropped 30%. And it was like, this is a bit, I gotta reformat something. So then I like analyzed all the data, saw what was working, what wasn't working, what made the most money, what made the least money, what got a lot of views but made no money, what made a lot of money but got no views. And I eventually came to the conclusion, series generally don't work unless you have a strong following for the series, and one-shots work a lot better. Because it was actually a gradual transition. I changed from series to what I called 3-part Let's Plays. So I actually had a series called 3-part Let's Plays, and I did part 1, part 2, part 3, because I saw once you reach part like 5 or something, no one's watching anymore. Then I did the 3-part Let's Plays, and I saw the view counts from part 1 to part 2 halved. Then I was like, I should just do 1-part Let's Plays. And then I just decided not to do Let's Plays because they're just 1 part. Since then...
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, since then, I figured out how to cater to everyone, where I do a 1-part Let's Play, but it's 6 hours long. And I just tell the audience, you stop watching when you want to stop watching. It's 1 video.
You put out long videos.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because essentially...
most years are over an hour.
Yeah. Because essentially what happens is, since the first part gets most of the views, you just make 1 super long part, and on average, for me, like 2 to 5% watch the whole thing, right? A very low percentage watch the whole thing. But then you can actually see the drop-off over the hours is essentially the drop-off I had during a Let's Play. If I did like half-hour parts, right? The drop-off is like the same curve. But when it's 1 long video, all the views are piling onto a single video. So instead of having like 50,000 views spread out across 10 videos, so it's like maybe 8,000 views on the first one and like 1,000 views on the last one, all 50,000 views are on 1 video. So then I have a video with 50,000 views rather than 10 videos with like 2,000 views, sort of thing.
Interesting.
Nook, could you up your microphone level just a little?
Yeah. Me.
Editing. Let's talk about editing.
Oh,
because
I gave up.
it makes Nook uncomfortable.
Editing. What's that? Is that something people do?
I switched to live editing because ever since OBS got the pause record feature, I just pause when I want to do a cut. I just press the pause button and I go do something, then I come back, press resume. YouTube has no idea.
No, you post-production amateurs, and you with a qualification in digital media or whatever flamboyant description it has.
Is that any better?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
Well, I used to do a lot of editing because, I was trying to make videos short, because old YouTube days, you want short videos, right? 5-minute videos are like always took off way better. Nowadays, long videos, YouTube prioritizes watch time, all of that. So I slowly edited less and less because the longer video is just better. But I did follow my wife to an interview one time. And they were doing this live interview, big green screen room and everything. And I was like, okay, how are they doing this? So I sat next to the technician, and he had this big console and a preview screen of what the public saw. And then we could see what was actually happening in the room. And he was just pressing buttons to bring up graphics and transitions and change things on the fly. Changing cameras, everything on the fly. And I was like, this was years ago. This was probably 2016 when I saw this. And I saw him doing this and I was like, oh, so they just record this and broadcast it essentially live. And this is before like live streaming was sort of really mainstream sort of thing. So I was like looking at him doing this and I was like, I could do that. And then I don't have to render a video afterwards. I just have to have everything prepared and do it on the fly. And then I just stop recording and just upload the video straight. So then I went home and started working on all of that and managed to figure it out. And now I try to do live editing. So as I'm, streaming live, I press buttons to bring up the graphics, bring up the titles, do the transitions, all of that. So I don't have to render a video afterwards because I hate 16-hour renders.
Yeah, I can imagine. Okay, right, look, so when we had our conversation before, I got a few people came into my comments, I don't know about you, Nook, but were saying, like, this was really interesting because I've always wanted to do a YouTube channel, or I've got a small channel, and it's always nice to hear from people who are a little bit larger about what the challenging stuff is. So why don't we run through a sequence of pro tips for if you are a small channel or if you've just started out. Not that I'm just going to nick all your tips and try and make it work for me, of course. But some kind of beginners or developmental tips for a YouTubist.
Zach had a video that I watched. This was end of last year.
Did I?
And you did a thing about, remember? It was more about like the unlikeliness of becoming a YouTuber and making
on
YouTube. But you made a point on that video. Basically, you started the whole thing talking about how astronomically improbable it is. But then you made a point, which I completely agree with, and that is if you make a channel and then you stick with it and you start seeing a few trickling in subscribers. It takes a while for the start, but when you hit that 500 subscriber mark, then you've got something. And if you can hit that, then as long as you stick with it, then you can probably get somewhere.
Yeah.
And I think that's I agree.
That's a good place to start. But I mean, I see a lot of kind of small channel collectives where you get a bunch of people kind of club together and kind of go like, well, we'll all sub to each other's channel. This isn't sub for sub stuff. This is just, we want to support each other. And you kind of go, but those are dead subscribers. The worst subscriber is someone who never watches, because then it's just a number that just sits in the background there. And so, I mean, I could sub to both of your channels today. In fact, I already am. But I could sub to someone's channel today, but if I never come back and watch the video, what good am I? Now, you have the YouTube barrier to entry of 1,000 subscribers, which is when you can turn monetization on. But that's the only benefit you get from that. If you are not getting people who are actively watching your videos, forget about it. And if the number is going up because of all your friends coming in, you're not learning anything. The important bit early on is you've got to learn what good looks like, because you don't know. You've got no idea whether what you're making is good, bad, or indifferent. And the first hurdle for me was getting used to hearing myself back again without just going, oh God, what are you talking about? This is rubbish. You've got to be able to get past that. You've got to be able to get past the bit where you think you're awful, into being able to go, that was quite good. I quite liked that. That was actually quite funny. Let's do more of the quite funny, because that works out quite well. But you've got to find what it is that your audience is actually going to like. And you won't do that with effectively made up subscribers or people who've come in out of the goodness of their own heart.
Something I heard a long time ago before I started, I think it was don't worry about your first 100 videos because no one's going to watch them anyway.
Yeah.
And that's one of the big reasons I started, because I'm a bit of a shy guy, so I didn't want to, like, that thought of having people watch, while intriguing, also was a little bit scary. And so I was like, well, I'll just sit down and just do it. No one's going to watch. It's okay. And then people started trickling in before I started learning how to.
At the point that you start getting better at it.
Yeah. Start learning what to do. I would go around, I used to deliver pizzas, and I would play my videos while I was driving, just to listen to myself, but not watch the video, to try to teach myself to explain better. Because if I understood what was going on while I was just listening, then I could understand while I was watching. So rather than saying over here or, that thing, I would try to describe a bit better. Try to teach myself not to mumble as well, which which was a big problem.
Yeah, that's actually a huge thing because especially over the last few years, the trend of people watching YouTube videos without looking at the video is way on the rise. They're using just Let's Plays and stuff for like, oh, I need sound to help fall asleep, or they're just using it as a podcast sort of thing. So actually just like listening to yourself without watching the video and then hearing, oh, actually no one can tell what I'm talking about, you know, hearing that and then being like, okay, I'll be more descriptive here. I can't understand what I'm saying there. That's actually huge nowadays.
But people actually listen to me to fall asleep. Or rather, one of the pieces of feedback that I used to get quite regularly was, you're the only channel my wife lets me watch because she'll fall asleep while listening to your voice. And I kind of go, there's a market. I could make that work. I never really leaned into it, but no, that it all works.
Yeah, and
Yep.
it's not like an insult or anything because like when I was doing those 4 jobs, I used to turn on Let's Play videos or StarCraft videos or something and go to sleep with those, you know, just so there's some noise going on. You know, it's like leaving the TV on sort of thing, right? So, but it's great because YouTube videos end. So once you're asleep, eventually the video stops playing, you know? So people actually come to my channel all the time as well and say, oh, not to be offensive, but I use your videos to fall asleep. You know, it's like, no, I get it. I did the same thing.
Yep.
And YouTube doesn't care. YouTube doesn't care whether someone has got their eyes actively engaged in what you're doing or if it's just background noise. Because when an ad plays, you're still hearing the ad, whether you're paying attention or not.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but also on the point of people starting their channels, one thing that I always want people to know is that YouTube requirement to monetize the 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch hours, unless you have massive amounts of watch hours and not enough subs, you're not going to be making any money at that point anyway. Because a lot of people is like, oh, I want to monetize my channel. I just hit the 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers. YouTube, quickly monetize me. You're maybe gonna make like $5 a month. It's not. You're not gonna make any money, you know. And people obsess over that target as if it's some impossible goal to reach, but or rather, it's an end goal to reach. But that's like just the starting line.
Yeah, you're completely oblivious to. I've no idea how much I'm going to make. You know, when you get to that point, you kind of go like, here we go, and you look at your earnings over the course of the month, and it's $7.15, and you're going to go, yeah,
right. 4,000 watch hours is not a lot.
No, it really isn't.
Especially for channels which do more viral content, where it's like, oh, here's a 30-second video that got 1 million views. That video is making no money because ads are not playing on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
12 minutes. That's what YouTube tries to work to. This is the best information I have, is that it tries to work to showing a viewer a new ad every 12 minutes.
Mm. So it's, you know.
Now, obviously, you will get them more rapidly from time to time, but 12 minutes is what it aims for.
Yeah, people wanting subscribers and stuff. I mean, the only thing I've gained from the subscriber number going up is at some benchmarks, at some levels, they unlock some features. Like the community tab is at about 10,000 subscribers, last I checked. And then you can get verified at 100,000 subscribers, right? But that's about it. Being verified didn't change anything for me. You know, no one cares.
The check mark.
Yeah, the
That's
check mark.
fantastic.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like
I want the plaque. I want the thing to hang on the wall because it's a picture.
I got
and that's the thing is that no flipping show off.
No, it's still it's still in the box.
It's in the box.
I don't know what to do with it.
You're one of those people that wins an Oscar and then leaves it in the bathroom.
It's just on the floor. It's like propping up my acoustic foam. It's
a validation thing, and I think this is true no matter what size you are. It's like, you know, if you can get to 100 subs, so that you can then lock in your custom channel name, and you're properly validated, then that's a point of I've achieved this. You get to 1,000 subs, you can turn monetization on. You get to the next benchmark where you can turn the next bit on. These are all personal validation points, which is why I'm going like, I'd really like to get to 100,000 subscribers. That would be brilliant. But there's a secret weapon, right? Here it is. Right, this is encapsulated. This is how to be a success on YouTube. You ready? Make great videos that people want to watch. That's it. That is the secret. That is the only secret. Is right. So, I've cleverly coded the whole thing into one snappy phrase there. Firstly, do the stuff that people want to watch. If nobody is looking for a video on the topic that you're making, then nobody's going to watch it. It's only the people that you coerce to watch it. And subscribers are people you have coerced into watching your stuff. But if you've got no subscribers, nobody's going to watch your video about something that nobody cares about. So using trending topics or popular games or YouTube search to figure out what to make is vital. You've got to make stuff that people are interested in. I use a lot of ratio-based calculations to work out potential audience sizes. And one that I use is go have a look on Steam for the number of active players over the course of a month that a game has had. Divide that by 10, and that is the maximum audience size for viewers. Now, this is total rubbish, of course, but it gives you something to work off. So if you've got a game that's got 10 million players, there are maybe 1 million viewers out there to be had. If you're playing a game that has sold 40, 50,000 copies in total and 300 people are playing it, there's probably only about 30 people that are going to be interested in watching videos on that topic. So the scale of the game directly influences the number of viewers that you get. And the second thing is make great videos. If you've found a topic that people are interested in, but your video sucks, you've got some wretched EDM flipping spinning logo 3D intro that takes up 15 seconds at the start, they're not making it past second number 3. They've gone by that point to try and find someone who actually delivers within a timely fashion. You've got to grab their attention from second 1. You've got to hold it to second 10. You then have 30 seconds to prove it. You've got to prove that this is a video that is worth watching. Otherwise, you've lost that viewer, which, it kills your retention, it kills your watch time, and the algorithm sees that. The algorithm sees that people are burning out. Now, you always have the 90% burnout cliff because of autoplay and because of people who've misclicked and people where it's, where the video's followed on, they go, no, I don't want to see another one. Or, have I seen this one before? And they work it out within the first couple of seconds. So there's always a cliff at the start of the video, but you can mitigate that by making your video suck less. There you go, that's my pitch. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's pretty much
I have a
it.
different point of view.
Yeah, no.
You like popular games, but I have built a channel on not playing popular games.
That's true.
Oh yeah.
And I point the time my channel started turning up was the time that I gave up Civilization and the I was playing old games, but the time I gave up the idea of playing the games that everyone else was playing and started trying to find the ones that I couldn't find videos on and things that were a little more niche and seeking out the more unknown things. Because if you're playing, I don't know, Dota or some popular game, then someone goes and types in look for Dota, you're never going to be on there. But if someone looks for, strange name the roguelike, and there's one video and it's you, then you just found a few people that want to play that game. And if that game happens to get popular, there you are. I sat myself down to learn Dwarf Fortress for a big reason is for YouTube, because there wasn't a lot of videos out there. There was only a couple people playing it. It was a complicated game, so no one else was really making videos for it. And it wasn't a popular game, certainly at the time. It's gotten much more popular now. But because if you search Dwarf Fortress, then I'm in there, even from the early days. And so, my opinion is, you need to go try to find the ones that are less shown off. Less
competition makes a big difference.
Yeah. If you find a game and your video is on the second page of YouTube results, no one's going to go to the second, third page. They're going to click the one in the first 5. And if you can seek out those more unknown things, seek out the more unknown stuff, and that's what my channel's built on now.
Yeah, the only time
and it works.
Yeah. No, the only time I have success with the new games is if you got a preview code, so you can play it before anyone else.
Oh.
Right.
So because the not early access as in before it's even playable to the public. So for example, I realized this when I was like, okay, I'm gonna go try Dark Souls 3. Right? This is before I understood this point. Dark Souls 3 is coming out. I'm going to play Dark Souls 3. Everyone's into Dark Souls. Lots of people will watch it. And they had this weird thing with the embargo where they sent out preview keys to a bunch of creators and stuff like that 2 weeks ahead of the release date. Obviously, I didn't get one, but I was like, it's okay. They're all under embargo until release date. I can just get the game, make a video straight away. It's still going to be okay. Then someone broke the embargo. And instead of them punishing that person, they just said, all right, there's no embargo anymore. So all these creators who got the preview keys, they all just started making videos 2 weeks before the game released. So by the time the game released and I made a video, it got 1,000 views. And I'm like, how do I compete with these guys who get the game 2 weeks early? Like they finished entire playthroughs of Dark Souls 3 before I could even play the game. There's completed Let's Play series of Dark Souls 3. All the secrets in individual little snippet videos all released before the game even released. And I was like, I'm not doing this again. So then I sort of...
Well, it's the fundamental rule of business, right? Which is get there first or get there best.
Yeah.
If you... And early access to the game is critical. But I'm in the Evil Genius 2 early access group right now, and my videos have done quite nicely.
Everybody's in that.
Everybody's in that, and I know the number of people that they've just blanket covered absolutely everyone. I've been describing it as this year's 2-point hospital.
Yeah.
You remember how many people got given 2-point hospital access early, to the extent that I went, no, I'm not going to cover it. It would sit beautifully on my channel, but I'm going to cover their direct competitor. I'm going to cover Project Hospital instead, which nobody was covering. And so I did really, really nicely out of that, while everybody else was going, it's a bloke with a light bulb for a head. That's funny. But yeah, no. So I'm in the process of doing it to everybody else on Evil Genius. But I had a halfway decent idea, which was we were only allowed to do video on demand. So recorded video, you're allowed to record 1 hour of footage, which is not an embargo I've come across before. And you kind of go, all right, okay,
it's weird, fine.
Yeah. So I went, well, you're allowed to play up to this point in the story. And so I went, so I shall play up to that point and then I shall record my hour right at the end. And it's like 90% of all other channels went out and recorded from the start. So everybody else is doing the first hour of the story, and I've got the last hour. I kind of go, hey, which worked out quite nicely. But if you're a small channel and you're kind of going, this is going to be the one that makes my channel great. Sorry, no, we already stole that audience. You now have to muscle in. The only upside is that all of those channels that were given early access to it, they're all going to leave. They will move on to other stuff because they tend to be the ones that are chasing the next hit rather than sticking around in something long term. So you'll find that you'll have a second wave of coverage coming out from smaller channels, and after a month, 2 months, if the game is sticky enough, they'll start to make some progress, some benefit from it.
Yep, and in 2 months you'll have some new YouTuber that started 6 months ago that their whole channel is Evil Genius.
And they've exploded, and you look at them and going to go, but I was there first. If I'd have stuck with that horse, I'd be Johnny Big Time now.
Well, that's always the feeling, but it never sort of works out that way. Even if you stick with the horse, it's like some young kid always shows up and it's like he makes an Evil Genius video, and then why does this video have 3 million views? Why don't I have 3 million views?
Thanks, YouTube.
And it's like you can't really just whatever. You see this all the time, you know.
Yeah.
You can't engineer it, but you can give yourself a fighting chance, and that's the big difference. But
yeah, and I find
on a related subject, I had this thought a moment ago. How many game keys do you get sent over a typical week? An estimate.
Maybe 10.
10.
Yeah, there's a lot of games. Wow. They're obscure. They're obscure, but
I know. I probably get between 20 and 30. I think.
I probably get close to 100.
Well, you're Mr. WePlayAnyGame.com.
Yeah.
I have a rule on my channel that I started a long time ago, is that I only play games that I enjoy. So
yeah,
it's something that, because I was once I started getting traction, I was fearful I was going to be one of those Minecraft people that are playing Minecraft for 7 years and probably, losing their mind because they're forced to play the same game over and over again. So my rule was never to chase the one that's going to make me the money. Just stick with the one that's going to play what I want to play. And if I'm playing something for a while, it's good, it's getting me good views, but I'm not enjoying it, move on to the next one. And so I get a lot of keys. I play a lot of games, and so it's a strict rule that I try to keep, that I only play the ones that I enjoy playing.
That's the right philosophy. But the number of keys I get sent by people that you kind of go like, have you done any research at all? I mean, how many other 2D retro Zelda type games have you seen me cover before? Why are you wasting your time sending me a key? I'm not going to play it.
I may get 100 keys a week, but I probably play maybe 2 or 3. Most of the ones I play on the channel are ones I go seek out from, where.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get fewer keys probably because I get 10 keys a week and I play none. I don't.
Both of you guys, though, you guys are the opposite of me. Because you guys both do it. You don't even do videos every day necessarily.
No.
You'll do one every couple of days or every 3 days or so.
I try one every 2 days, but if things happen, because my content is, every single one of my videos, I design it from evergreen perspective. So it doesn't matter when I make my videos or how many videos I make, as long as I have lots of videos that exist. Because a lot of my most popular videos, they're just high view count because they get 100 views a month, but they've been there for 8 years, So then it really builds up, right? And most of my top videos are like that. So I just make these videos, and it's even if it just, it got 1,000 views, it's not doing very well. I check back 6 months later, and it's got 20,000 views. And apologies, it's a thunderstorm here, in case you can hear that. It's monsoon season. But
that was fair. Good.
but yeah, I made an orthodox video a year or two ago about fake PlayStation 4 controllers. Right, and I was like, okay, no one's gonna watch this, but I just bought a fake controller and I'm upset. I'm gonna show people the difference between a real one and a fake one. And I did this video, and it got maybe 2,000 views, and I was like, okay, whatever. But then 4 or 5 months after, I started getting comments on this video. I was like, oh, what's going on here? Why does this video have so many comments on it suddenly? And I looked at the video, and it had 80,000 views, and I'm like, where did this come from? And the graph actually looks like a flat line, and then 5 months in, it just spikes up. And I don't know what happened there. But 5 months after I uploaded the video, it spiked up, and now it's got 200,000-300,000 views. So I sort of gave up with the, uploading daily is good if you can do it, but I stopped stressing about it, and now it's more once every 2 days on average. So it's 150 videos a year sort of thing.
Well, it's a brute force approach, uploading daily. YouTube likes it because it means that you've constantly got new stuff that can be recommended to people who have watched one of your previous videos. So the algorithm really loves that. But you're cannibalizing your own view count. Because if people like your stuff and they once in a while they'll visit the front of your channel, they'll look at the last couple. And therefore, if it's been 10 videos, then you've got 10 videos that you've killed before they had the opportunity to be viewed. Now, in Nook's case, you get the search mojo going on there, in that you're playing weird, quirky stuff where there's not a lot of competing videos out there. So that's always going to work. If 6 months from now it leaves early access and gets a ton of press and people go looking for videos, lo and behold, you turn up. But in a longer Let's Play kind of approach, you're killing your traffic the following day by releasing a new video. I'd love to have the confidence to take my foot off the accelerator and go one video a week. But that video is going to be amazing. It's going to be the best thing you've ever seen in your life. It's going to bring everything that I know about making great videos and actually deliver on it. Rather than go like, oh, flipping heck, I'm supposed to have a video up in 2 hours. Hit the record button, I'll just start talking. But you go like, yeah, but if I switch to doing that, am I not going to lose every single one of my viewers? Are they all not going to go, you don't love us anymore, I'm leaving? Discuss.
We have a very different pack of viewers, whatever you want to call it, because you have very loyal folks. Yeah. I was looking at the comments on the one from last time, and based on Patreon, all that kind of stuff, you have a very loyal batch of folks, and I think you gear towards that perfectly. Where I am more of I gear towards I'm looking for a game to play. Let's see what old Nookrium's dug up, and pop in, look in, watch it for 5 minutes, move on to the next one, and that's sort of what I cater to, just trying to drudge up the less known things and just sort of show them off rather than build a following, I suppose. As much as I would like to be able to do like a Let's Play and have a following 50 videos in, I think it'd be great, but I can't do it. I've tried, but I've got a few loyal folks that will watch, but and I try to do some things just to keep the loyal folks happy, but for the most part.
Yeah, but it works. That's the only thing that matters. You've found something that works.
Yeah. And I'm loving it. I've been doing this for 6 years now. 6 years, and this is I cannot believe still this is my job. And even though I throw up a lot of videos, but I tried to resist. I think it was early last year. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to one video a day. And I'll make a good video, one video a day, and I couldn't do it because I just wanted to do more. I know there was a big thing last year, people talking about YouTube Burnouts. Does anyone have any opinions on that?
Well, tying both points together, I kind of tried to do both in terms of the quality and quantity. So like I do these upcoming list videos, right? And those are my like crown jewel of the year. I do 5 or 6 or maybe 7 upcoming list videos, and they are like the best list videos you've ever seen, I can confidently say. My RPG list has 70 games in it. It is a 42-minute long video, heavily curated, perfectly picked music, transitions, effects, everything. Like, it is mega long, and it took me 80 hours to produce, right? 80 work hours. If I did those full time, I could release one every 2 weeks and do nothing else with my life, right? So I do 6 a year, and I just dabble on it for most of the year, and then I produce it at the end of the year. But then I also do these series where they're not so much Let's Play series, but I build a series based around an idea or a topic. So I do, for example, Gamer Encounters, which is a first impression series, or Nostalgiasm, which is a nostalgia series of games, where they're all one-shots, right? They're not a Let's Play through a game, they're one-shots, but people can watch through that playlist for a feeling, a sort of a type of thing, right? So like I have Abandonware Adventures, which is like mega nostalgia because it's games you can't buy anymore, right? So when people want a certain feeling, they can go to different playlists. So I want to experience the new stuff, it's here. I want to experience old nostalgic stuff, it's here. I want to experience really old, super, I forgot this game existed, but oh yes, it's that one. It's this this sort of playlist. So that's how I do the series. So I try to capture both the regular update and the crown jewel sort of, what did YouTube call it? Hero content, right? That's what YouTube calls it.
Yeah.
So I try to do both, but that does lead to a lot of burnout, as you mentioned, especially the hero content, because 80 work hours for one video, and there's no guarantee that it succeeds. There was 1 year where I did those list videos, and one of them got 2,500 views. And I spent 80 work hours making this video, and it got 2,500 views. And I'm like, I can't do this. So I did more analysis and stuff, and I reformatted the videos to be something else. But it can get very heavy burnout. So like this year, usually I plan the 6 genres I'm gonna make for the list videos, and this year I did 5, and I just could not bring myself to do the 6. It's just like after I did the RPG one, which was the mega 42-minute 70 games thing, I was like looking at the last. It's the last one in the set I was supposed to do, and I was like looking at it, and I was like, I cannot write another script. It's too much. Then I was like, maybe I'll just skip this one and link to the last year's one if anyone asks. You know, it's like it's okay. Last year's one is still good enough. It's so I just sort of burned out by that point. It's like I couldn't make the last list video. So it's.
I sympathise. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've never sunk 80 hours into making a video, but I will regularly do a series where I decide, right, I'm going to edit this really heavily. I'm going to add extra sound effects and transitions, and I'm going to try and only use the best bits that I've recorded to try and make a compact, 17, 18 minute long, really hit that algorithmic sweet spot for view percentage, and it's going to be brilliant. And after it's done, I go, this is great. This is some of the best work I've ever done, and nobody watches it. Because I've always chosen a game they don't care about. And you kind of go, but this is some of the best work I've ever done. Please watch it. If you watch my regular stuff and you think it's all right, watch this. This is where it's actually quite good. But that's a motivation in itself, is just making something that you're proud of afterwards. They're all my babies, but some of them I love a little bit more. And making stuff that you're actually proud of afterwards, and go like, there's actually some creative and technical accomplishment that goes along with whatever it achieves. And then of course you press record for 20 minutes, put out some old nonsense, and it does 86 times the number of views. You kind of go, why do I even exist? What's the point? What's the point to any of it?
Yeah, I was talking to a friend one time, and I was telling him, just because you make a great video doesn't mean it's gonna get views, right? And he was very confused. He was like, no, but it's a good video, so obviously that'll do better. I was like, no, because what people care about is not even necessarily the quality of the video they're watching. Like, if you are into a topic, you'll watch some garbage video about it because you don't care how garbage it is. You want the topic. Like, if you're into carnivorous plants, right? A niche topic in gardening. You will watch some guy who just pressed record in the garden and say, hey, have a look at my plants. Oh, great, nice plants. They'll watch that because they want the topic. Yeah. They're not looking for a Hollywood blockbuster about carnivorous plants. They just want to see your plants, And then that video gets tons of views. No,
they will watch the Hollywood blockbuster about carnivorous plants.
They will watch
it. But
yes.
if you've made one about I don't know, tulips or daffodils or something like that, and you've spent 50 hours editing it together, and you've gone to Cameo and you've hired Samuel L. Jackson to do the voiceover for it, they're not going to watch it because it's not about carnivorous plants.
So that's
Make videos that people want to watch.
Yeah, that's very confusing to new creators as well, because it's like, I made this great video, but no one's watching it. YouTube is screwing me. And it's like, well, not quite.
I even had a 20-second intro in there, and they still wouldn't watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
On the topic of intros,
I went and got the licensed music, and nobody's interested.
On the topic of intros, like, people always say, oh, if you have like intro animations of videos, keep them short, less than 3 seconds, or max 5 seconds, absolute max 10 seconds. So I've got this one intro, which I keep using because I really like it. You know, I like rewatching my own intro because I've made it so nice. Because I picked this really nice song, and it's like, yeah, I want to keep listening to this song. But because it's like a shorter intro, it's only a part of the song, so it's like you can keep hearing it again, and it's like, it doesn't get repetitive. But that intro is like 20 seconds long. So I was like, okay, maybe that's a bit long. So I reformatted my videos. So when I start the video, it's me addressing and talking about what's going on. And after like 20, 30 seconds of me talking and trying to do something a little bit entertaining, I press the intro button and it plays the intro. And some people said, oh, that intro is a bit long, you know? But I was like, but I still like it though. So I kept using it. And now I'm actually getting comments saying, oh, that intro was fantastic. I'm gonna subscribe just for that intro because I see you put in the work for it. So you can make an intro longer than 5 seconds, but make it nice to watch. Make it sort of a mini video within the video that is interesting and entertaining.
And it needs to be fun to watch the 20th time you've seen it, or the 50th time that you've seen it, or the 100th time that you've seen it. If you're not bringing anything new to the party, then why bother? One of my founding principles, or one of the principles I've kind of adopted, is that, you know, television was a thing, right? And that people used to watch television, and they've solved quite a lot of these problems about how to get people to tune in. So one of the things that American TV does, and American TV audiences are famously fickle because they've always had a massive breadth of content, so they can channel hop like bananas and go through, you know, dozens of channels. In the UK, only up until the kind of 1990 did we have more than 4 TV channels. So you would stick with what you were getting there. You'd kind of go like, I've gone through all 4, this is the only one worth watching. But what American TV channels did is they would have an opening tease moment, and then you'd get the opening credits. Obviously, you'd go commercial opener, commercial credits, commercial show, which is hell. But they've already figured out how to grab people's attention. So I went like, right, I'm not going to have my intro right at the start. I'm going to have my intro. I mean, I used to. When I started out, I had an intro at the start, and I just went, no, this is just burning people's attention. Now it comes in anywhere from 30 seconds to 10 minutes into the video. That I've got an idea in the back of my head is which I'll put my intro in at about 20 minutes and then finish the video at 21 minutes. I'll do that at some point. That's the kind of madcap rubbish I do. But then I went like, you know what The Simpsons does with their intro, where you've got whatever Bart writes on the blackboard, and then you've got the family doing the thing with the couch at the end of it. That's what makes their intro worth watching the 1000th time you've seen it, is that there is something different in the intro. So I put something different in the intro every single time. And it takes me 30 seconds to do. And sometimes it's funny and sometimes it's not. Not on. Sometimes it's funny and most of the time it isn't. But people like that. They respond to it. And it's all part of, because you are building up a mythos around your channel. These are the rules of this channel. This is channel canon. This is what happens here, and therefore I feel like once I'm on the inside of the running jokes, then I feel like I belong to this channel. And I've got a bunch of running jokes. I mean, I've got tons of them. I've got a cast of characters that I used to call the Circus of the Mighty, but these days I'm starting to call it the Dozaverse, of all of the characters that I've played as in different games, and they'll pop up in other games doing kind of guest star bits. And people who have been with the channel for a long time, they know the backstory, and so they love that stuff. And they love the intro because it will make a comment, it will make a reference to something oblique that newcomers might not get. But those newcomers go, I want in on this secret society. How do I understand everything you're talking about? And that just works really nicely. I might have gotten off topic a little bit, but hey, I was enjoying myself. I hope that was fun for you too.
The theme of this is there is no topic, so you're good.
No, like
We ought to get one at some point, though. Otherwise, how are you going to tag it with anything useful?
this is an experiment. It's okay. Doesn't have to blow up. But yeah, on intros, like I started to realize, like there are some old cartoon series where the intros are just way more iconic than the others. And when the intro plays, it's like you want to hear the intro. Like you want to listen to the music, you want to see, even if it's the same thing every time. So for me, my favorite old cartoon intro is the old X-Men series. I think it's 80s, early 90s. And every time you hear that song, like it's like you just want to jam with it, right? And I realized old cartoon intros, the good ones go two, I don't know what the musical term is. It goes two verses essentially, right? The subpar intros, it plays like one bar and then it stops. But then the good intros, at the end of the bar, it goes another bar a little bit harder, and it's like, oh, this is when you know the intro is good. It goes on longer than usual, and the X-Men series goes basically twice. It's twice as long as other cartoon intros, which I suppose for them means they have to animate less every episode, but it also means that people put up with that longer intro every single time. And a more recent example, the Netflix documentary High Score about video games. I'm not sure if you guys have seen that, but the intro for that, it's like when that song plays, I'm like, I need to look on Spotify. What is this music? This music is so good. I discovered Power Glove, the people who made the music, because of that. So like every time I put on High Score, because it's not too long, it's like a 15, 20 second intro. It's not too long, but that music came on and it's like, it's my kind of music. It's like, this is the exact kind of music I would listen to on repeat on Spotify. So because it hit me with that music, I just watched it every time because I just wanted that on my playlist.
I'm not allowed to watch intros anymore. I watch it with my wife. Whether it's 5 seconds or a minute, I gotta hit the skip.
I know. It's like watching The Mandalorian last year, and you'd kind of go, "Don't skip. It's like 3 seconds. Just leave it. We'll be there. It's fine."
No, my wife skips intros as well. Like she's like, "Why aren't you pressing the skip button? It's about to end. We're gonna skip like a second of intro."
It's setting me up for the show. I'm ready for it. Are we just slower moving than women? Are they just kind of like, no, yeah, I get this. Yeah, I've seen this stuff before. Give me the stuff, and we're kind of going, I'm getting myself in the mood.
Let's not talk about women. Let's add that to the list of things to not talk about.
Why not? They're people too.
No, my wife processes information really fast.
All right, I got a question for you. What percentage of your audience is female? You know the number.
7 or 8.
7 or 8%.
Yeah.
1 second. Under 10.
Like under 10, yeah.
I think it's because the games I play just don't. It's not usually that audience, because playing Caesar 3 from '98, a city builder from the '90s is not really like. My wife doesn't watch my channel, It's like
No. No, my wife's a massive gamer, and she only watches my stuff once in a while. When I say, "Oh, the cat turned up in that one," she goes, "Oh, really? All right, I'll have a look at the cat." And I kind of go, "Not me, then." She goes, "No, you make stuff about trains, and for crying out loud, no." One of the things that she says very regularly is that girls don't want to be spaceships. They're quite happy to be the captain of the spaceship, but they don't want to be the spaceship.
Right, yeah.
So, something like Mass Effect, no problem at all. Something like EVE Online, hard pass. So, that's her philosophy, but we used to play first-person shooters together, And she'd always play as a sniper, and I don't know what it is. Women love playing as snipers. I've known a lot of female gamers, and they all love playing as snipers. And I kind of go, I'm fine with that. And so I would play her teammate, idiot associate with a machine gun, who would make sure that no one snuck up on her from behind. And it was a great tag team combo, especially in multiplayer. Is she'd just be there popping people, and they'd try and come round flanking, and they'd meet Charlie Big Bullets, who'd go like, hello, have me machine gun. Marvellous.
Yeah, I think my wife plays more games than I do, actually. Like, especially in terms of number of hours, I think she plays way more than I do. It's just, you know, when she watches videos, I think, for her anyway, she much prefers short videos. So it's not my stuff. She's not watching me play 6 hours of Cyberpunk. It's not. She's not gonna do. She's not gonna put herself through that. But she might play 6 hours of Cyberpunk herself.
Yeah. Yeah. What was the last game you played for yourself?
For myself.
Without pressing the record button.
Dwarf Romantic.
Oh, that's new. Is it good?
It's not often that I get a game that I play a lot of games. And it's not often that I get a game that I'm just like really into it. And
Okay.
that one has hooked me. Bannerlord hooked me last year. And Dwarf Romantic, I don't know what it is. I got sick a month or so ago, and I had a key for it, and I lost my voice, so I couldn't record. And so I just sat back here and just played a bunch of Dwarf Romantic.
I think at the start of last year, 2020, I played, was it last year? When did it release? 10 hours of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Just 10 hours. After 10 hours, I was like, all right, I better get back to work. That was the last time I played without recording. Before that, I played Pillars of Eternity 1 in, was it 2016? When it was relatively new? And it's because it was a downtime for my channel, and my wife traveled for work. So I was alone at home, and I played Pillars of Eternity 1, and I finished the main quest in like 15 hours. And then I just stopped. Those are the last 2 games I played just for myself.
I get that question all the time. Like, do you ever play any games on your own? And
Really?
I play games with my kids, but I don't sit back here and not on my own. Not unless there's a sickness, I guess.
Okay.
But it's just, do you, Colonel?
Yes and no, and yes and no. Not very often. I went through a period actually where I was recording just a lot, and my wife observed. She goes, "You don't play anything for you anymore, and you probably should, because that way you can relax while you're doing it." But no, recently, I mean, I've been playing Mutant League Football. Flipping love Mutant League Football. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Everyone should go and buy it. And that way, maybe they'll put a team editor out. But then at the end of last year, I played 120, 130 hours of Cyberpunk. What a great game. What an absolute... I mean, you know, I've got nothing but sympathy for those who were trying to play it on console. I mean, yeah, it's got some problems in there. There are some problems, and eventually there might be a fun game, a great game in there. But is it fun? Oh yeah. I've not played anything else that has made me feel as much like a ninja badass in the first 20 minutes. Not since Warframe. Warframe does a great job at making you feel like you're some kind of superhuman, but no, Cyberpunk was phenomenal.
A lot of times, if I get a game that I want to play, I'll just stream it, just because it's. I mean, I figure I'm sitting here playing. I might as well. It just sort of adds to the fun, you know, having.
Well, I'm family friendly, you see. I mean, when I set up, I decided that I was only going to make stuff I'd be happy for kids to watch, not aimed at kids, aimed at their parents. Because I'm a parent myself, I kind of went like, would I be happy for my young kids to watch this stuff? And that's the rule that I've had since the get-go, and therefore I don't really cover. I think once or twice I've covered games that are violent, and and so I don't really do it. I mean, I did Bannerlord as a stream last year, which is maybe a little bit more violent, but it's not particularly gruesome. It's not especially violent, unless you get a javelin through your head, which can be quite violent.
Early on, I would watch Paul Soares with my kids, and he was like one of the few family-friendly channels that he played stuff that they would like, and he's entertaining. I like watching him, and so a long time ago, I kind of came to the conclusion that I should keep mine in that same vein of friendliness. Just to, I mean, because sort of, I want kids to be able to watch it, families to be able to watch it.
Yeah. Generally, that's good for business as well.
Right.
Right? You're not going to get demonetized.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, like the other day...
After 2017, that became the thing.
Like, you have to be so careful with how ads work nowadays. Like, I uploaded the Evil Genius 1 video the other day, because I never played the original, so I uploaded that. And through the course of the game, I didn't realize you were supposed to build a front door. So everyone was just waltzing into my lair, and I was like, how, they're all here. I thought they were all enemy agents. I didn't realize they were tourists in the game. So I was just, all right, kill him, kill that person. They're all dead. So then I uploaded the video, and I initially titled it, "We kill everyone who enters." Right? And I was like, saw the performance when I uploaded the video, and it was actually not doing as good as usual. And I was like, oh, wait, I put "kill everyone" in the title. YouTube might be doing a little bit of a thing, like, oh, maybe this is not quite, friendly as usual. So then I changed the title to not have "kill everyone," and I actually saw its performance pick up a little bit. So you have to be very careful. So being family friendly and like not necessarily squeaky clean, but clean helps a lot, especially in the YouTube titles. Because if the title has something, like if you put massacre in the title, advertisers are not going to put ads on your video, and that hurts its performance.
And you're appealing to 14-year-old boys, and there is, don't get me wrong, there is a very sizable 14-year-old boy audience out there who watch a specific type of video, but they haven't got any money. So don't expect them to become your backer on Patreon or buy your merchandise or any of that kind of thing. But they'll quite happily, watch all of your videos ever and then tell all of their happy little playmates. But yeah, it's a philosophical thing. You can quite merrily make videos for teenage lads, and do very, very nicely. The likes of Logan Paul or KSI or PewDiePie even, that's where their audience comes from, and then they stick around for years and years afterwards until they don't. I don't know, I think I had a point there somewhere, but I probably don't.
No. It's about being family friendly is good for business, generally. My audience
I imagine
tends
all
to
three
be
of us probably have the same age of audience.
Mine starts to pick up mostly in about the early 20s age range. So because of my content's rather nostalgic, I tend to get the audience of people who were gaming through their teens, but as they get to college and they start to, their tastes change to somewhat more mature stuff, they shift over to my channel. I don't know whether they keep watching the channels they've always watched, but I tend to have this uptick of viewers as they age into their 20s. And then that's where it goes up until the peak demographic is until 35. But I actually, according to my statistics, as long as roughly people are being honest with their ages, I have more 65-year-old viewers than 16-year-old viewers. Because I think I'm playing a lot of games where the 65-year-olds were playing in the 90s, and they're like, oh, maybe someone's playing this today, and they find me, and it's like, oh. So I actually have like quite a lot of the older.
It's about being relatable as well. I mean, I've got a good chunk of audience who are, my 35 to 44 plus demographic is significant, and it's because the reference. I drop in a ton of pop culture references when I'm recording stuff, but it's pop culture stuff that they grew up with, because and therefore it's familiar, it's relatable. I've got a few regular commenters that you can tell by the avatar that they've got on YouTube. You kind of go, it's an old bloke commenter, and you kind of go, great, old bloke commenter, because it's a safe space for old blokes to come and comment without going, oh, what's going on, granddad? From young people.
You just make a
Also
Dad's
satisfying
Army
whenever
reference.
You throw one of those comments in there. When you throw one of those comments in there and you get a response from it in the comments, you're like, oh
Yep.
yeah, somebody.
Oh, I love when they get a reference, especially when the reference is pretty vague.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's lovely. Right, I think we're done for this time. Unless you've got, let's go to wrap up. This is why we need a topic.
Well, this is our first podcast. Like we have to get used to the dynamics and everything first. We can get a topic next time.
Yeah, true. And also, by the time we're up to episode 20, if we get one more channel asked to join every single time, there will be 20 of us in the podcast by episode 20.
That's right.
I mean, that could be our gimmick. How many people can you get on a Discord call at once and still be able to hold a conversation where every single person on it talks for a living?
I think a lot of people just get through the whole podcast without saying anything. They'll just sit there. It's like,
just sat there going, I agree. Good. Right. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll wrap this one up. Thank you for watching, everybody. You have been watching GamerZakh, whose description is his channel is in the description below. You've been watching, because we're going in reverse order, see? Zakh's the big dog, and then Nukrium is the... sorry, I'm referring to my camera angles, you see? I'm probably all over the place on yours, but Nukrium is the second biggest dog. Yeah, I'm the small dog. Yes.
but the point is, we're all dogs. Okay.
All dogs all the time. Yeah, there
That's
you
the name
go.
of the podcast.
Yeah, thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Everybody wave to the camera.
Bye.
Bye.
Beautiful.
Good.
That's
I like
how the
it.
pros do it. That's how the pros do it, right there.
I told you I was a TV host for a while.
Yeah, I want to know more about that. TV host.
Yeah, well, let's get that one in next time. We could do, weirdo jobs that everybody's had.
TV host and a school teacher.
Oh yeah, at the same time. That was weird.
Man.
Time.